Ah, aha. We've got liftoff. Yes, we have liftoff. Okay. Thank you, Katarina. How is Brazil today? How is Brazil today? A little chilly. That's right. You guys are moving into your winter. My friend is in Sao Paulo, and she regularly stays in touch with me and has been trying to get me to come down for quite some time and spend at least a year, she says, visiting. Last time I was in Brazil, it was for the Amazon. And we spent 10 days in the Amazon. Talk about a spectacular experience. I was 13, I guess, maybe. 12 or 13. And I have been waiting to go back to take my own child back. Boobop, that's really cute because I saw you or someone making the exact same comment in somebody else's live yesterday. So I'm guessing it's a new troll comment sort of deal to try to get people to say something. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Folks on the internet looking to entertain themselves at other people's expense. Eh? What a funny state of the world to be. What a funny world to be in. What a funny space to be in. Good morning, my friends, or good afternoon, or good evening, or whatever time it is, wherever you are. For those of you who are new here, hola, hello. My name is Reverend Deborah. I am a movement facilitator, an interfaith minister, and your shenanigan shaman. Today, the shenanigans are a little watered down. So, we're going to be talking about the crown chakra. We're going to be talking about a mudra to help balance the crown chakra. And we're going to be talking about balancing the whole energy system and why that's important. Why it's important to balance the whole energy system. And how imbalances manifest in our day-to-day lives, in our personality, in our habits, in the workplace, in our relationships. But we're also going to set aside any kind of blame or guilt associated with any imbalances. Mullet Cookie, you need to balance your crown. Oh yeah, huh? So I might still be blaming it on COVID. I don't know. I'm still healing from that. But my brain has been really foggy all week long. So we're gonna wade through the fog today and make sure our crowns are propped up just right. Right, Mullet Cookie? So you guys may notice that I went ahead and put a new schedule up on at the top of my content. You can go check. Most platforms should have the schedule at the top of the content. If not, you can go to the link in my bio. There's now a link tree in my bio that will get you to Patreon, to all the other social links, to places to make donations, places to grab memberships, ways to join the Discord. All of that stuff is now on the link tree. And someone recently asked me to put a gifting list on the link tree as well. I will get those things set up for everybody, but the link tree is now in my bio. And again, I am at Move with Change. I am Move with Change on all the platforms that you hang out. But if you really want to engage with the content more, if you want to reliably get all the content, then you've got to follow me. Well, you got to join the Discord for that. Although I'm looking into some of these other collection spaces to keep all of the content from these classes. Replays are available on YouTube for up to a week, and then if you want to watch the archives of all the replays for all the classes and all the mudras and all the meditations, there's a membership for that. What an adorable cup I'm drinking from. Thank you. This is my tea troll. Today he's actually doing his job, and we're drinking tea, not coffee. That's exciting, Mullah Cookie. It's funny because it's been on my mind recently. I struggled for several weeks to measure my head for you, and then all of a sudden now it keeps popping into my head. So the anticipation is building. So with that new schedule, I am going to experiment with doing another class, adding another class to our schedule. Right now, I have it set for Friday nights. If you guys are familiar with Yoga Nidra, Yoga Nidra is a style of yoga, but when I say yoga, don't think, Yoga Nidra is like the yoga of sleep, right? That's what we call it, the yoga of sleep. Yoga Nidra is a really relaxing, more of a meditation. You don't do any poses. It's just laying down. You go through sometimes a visualization, usually a sensory progression. It's a really beautiful practice. And I want to start offering it regularly. So I'm going to start with it on Friday nights. And if that works for folks, I'll probably do like an hour session where I come on and we just start right away. None of the chit chat, but just focusing on creating that space that Yoga Nidra offers us. So if you're interested, if that sounds cool, come check me out on Friday nights. I think I have it set for 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9:30 for you, Virginia. And if you are in group coaching, I am going to be posting in the Discord to ask about timing for group coaching, because right now the Tuesday, Thursday sessions seem to be a little bit iffy for folks. So if you are part of the membership level that gets group coaching, definitely reach out and let me know if a different time than what we currently have it set at works for you. So I think that's it for our announcements. There are some classes I'm going to look at putting in here soon, things like ecstatic dance, and I still want to do the Skillshare workshop space. I just got to figure out where to put it into my schedule. And I need some folks who are going to sign up first to offer their skills for the Skillshare. If you're curious, the Skillshare is what it sounds like. It's a free space. It's a workshop space where we share skills. So if you have a skill of any kind that you can share in a 30 to 45 minute set time frame, let me know. Reach out if you can go live. I don't know. I guess I'm considering doing it in a way that I can go on Zoom and do it so that we can do it from anywhere, even if you can't go live on TikTok. I don't want to exclude people who have less than 1,000 followers. That seems silly, because people with less than 1,000 followers also have fantastic skills. All right, my friends. I feel like it's empty in here without any kind of background music or anything. But my spare phone has kicked the bucket. So here we are. Who knows? I might sing here in a second. Mullah Cookie, you're working on your shyness. Again, you know, we could totally set it up where you're not even on screen, where we just have a camera set up on whatever you're doing and you can teach what you're doing without ever being on screen. I mean, we'd need a voice kind of deal, but I'm flexible. It doesn't have to push your edges so far, or it doesn't have to be so intimidating that you choose not to do something that you really want to do. So reach out to me. And I'm also really supportive too in terms of like hosting things like that. So you're not going to be on your own. I'll tell you that. So what is our mudra for this week, y'all? What is the crown chakra mudra? I'm expecting you on that side of the screen to drop your phone and immediately do the mudra. Like you're showing it to me. This is our mudra for the Sahasrara chakra, the crown chakra. We do the crown chakra mudra, again, by bringing our hands into this nice, pretty little triangle right here, and then extending the fingers out, palms facing forward. We hold the mudra here above the head. Hold on, I'm checking my camera angle on the other platforms. Okay. The mudra goes up here, either directly above the head, or you can hold it a little bit in front, up above the forehead. Ideally, we want to sit for a minimum of 5 minutes, and I wouldn't suggest using this mudra for more than 20 minutes. Hi, Alabama. For more than 20 minutes, just because of the reality of holding your head or your arms up that high is not ideal. So this mudra can be done from 5 to 20 minutes. Stephen, I've been about a month without background music, you've noticed? Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately, the phone was not broken for that whole time, but now it is. Part of it, the reason I don't have the background music is because as soon as I do, the platforms shut down my lives, or they stop sharing my lives. So this is the mudra for balancing the crown chakra. Your crown chakra is located at the top of your head here and is the top opening to your energy, the central energy channel in the body. The crown chakra is responsible for thought, is responsible for our spiritual connection, our relationship with God and divinity. It's responsible for overthinking as much as it's also responsible for disconnection from spirituality. Those are indications of imbalances in the crown chakra. Amazing how you were told you need to work on your crown, and here we are. Sure, questions, go ahead and throw them out, guys. So the crown chakra is where we receive that infinite prana that satisfies our system. Our system is run on this prana, on this divine prana, on this infinite prana. And I'm talking about I'm talking about this thing not from a religious perspective, not from any particular kind of dogma, but from the idea that everything in the universe has a resonance, has a frequency, has a vibration. There is a life force of sorts that we can actually measure that goes through absolutely everything in the universe. We call it many things. However, it is something that flows through absolutely everything. That is something that is always available to everything. The capacity with which we receive that energy, the capacity with which that energy flows through us, is directly related to how much tension we have in the body and in the mind, in the breath, in the being. Tension is anything from thoughts, physical discomfort, excessive worry, fear, apprehension, shame, guilt. There are a lot of energies that can cause us to restrict the flow of life force that flows through us. And when that flow gets restricted, our system seeks to satisfy its needs still. So if that system is restricted from receiving divine prana, from receiving universal life force, then what it does is try to siphon it, try to get it from other finite resources. This is how we end up with attachments, addictions. This is how we end up with codependent relationships. This is how we end up with type A personality kind of things. These things lead us to further imbalance when we try to satisfy a need for an infinite thing with finite resources. Yes, we exist in a finite reality. There is a rise and a fall to absolutely everything. That rhythm, just like your breath, inhale and exhale. Is it like a form of meditation? So mudras are tools that we can use in meditation. We can use them without meditation. Mudras are really helpful ways to balance the energy system because mudras work to redirect the energy channels in the body. So you don't even have to meditate when you're using them. Does it amplify the experience? It absolutely does. If you're meditating while you're practicing your mudra, you're going to experience more of the benefit from it. However, again, I can be sitting there chilling and watching Netflix and holding a mudra, and I'm going to receive benefit from that mudra. So that's why I teach mudras as a primary thing that I've been doing for quite some time. Hi guys, hi friends. Because they are so accessible. Now, they're not all easy to do, but one like this is relatively easy, again, unless you have some sort of thing with your shoulders or upper body here or neck or whatnot that prevents you from doing this. So ideally, when you are practicing this mudra, you do want to be seated upright. You do want the crown chakra to be facing up towards the sky, but it's not imperative. If you have a condition or something that makes it impossible or really difficult for you to do this, then feel free to lay down and rest that on a pillow. The important part in this space is that we meet ourselves with compassion and grace. So I encourage you to take the practice, take the tool, and then modify it so that it works for you. Casey, I am not here for a single person. And this is a space where I am teaching tools, and we are talking about mudras and meditations. You asked if I could burp on command. I did go ahead and pass by your question because it's not related to the topic that we're talking about. But continuing to pester the comment section as if you are the primary focus of this live is inappropriate. And I'm just going to go ahead and mute you, my friend. So again, in this space, we approach each other with curiosity and willingness. If you cannot approach other people with curiosity and willingness, if you feel the need to be obtuse or verbose or rude or inappropriate in this space, you will be muted, and that is just to maintain the quality of this space so that we can all enjoy this space together. If you have questions about this topic or the things that we're talking about, feel free to throw them out there. If you'd like to discuss whether or not I'm doing the right thing, or you want to critique what I'm doing and you want to have these deeper discussions about the righteousness or not, or what have you, feel free to send me a message. We can continue that conversation elsewhere. I will not be prompted by that conversation in here, however. Hi, guys. Okay, so I did miss a question here that I wanted to get back to. Derek, you said, is it wrong to start developing your root, sacral, and solar plexus before working on all at once? No, it's not wrong to start working with anything. You can go ahead and work. So this is actually, I was just talking to somebody yesterday. I made a video about this yesterday. If you want to start working on your energy system, if you want to start working on your energy body or your chakras or any part of this, I encourage you to follow what comes up for you. So as an example, if I'm going to go to the grocery store, I do experience anxiety on occasion. And when I feel that anxiety, there is a physical place in my body where I feel that. The physical manifestations of that are related to imbalances in my energy body. So if you're just exploring this stuff and you want to get into and you're like, but how do I start working on what? Go ahead and follow the impulse that your body gives you. If, for me, anxiety happens a lot here in my solar plexus. Why? Because this is my center for will. And a lot of my issue with anxiety is feeling confident enough to protect myself. So for me, I experience that anxiety here, and it indicates that I can treat my solar plexus because that is where I'm feeling it. Now, I want to expand upon that because when a manifestation happens in my solar plexus or in my throat, it could mean, like this, an imbalance here because that's my center for will and I'm afraid. That's fair. It may also manifest here as well. Hi, Zach. Good morning. It may also manifest here as well. the root of the manifestation here may be here, or maybe all the way in my root. But if I go ahead and treat the physical manifestation, I'm going to start peeling away the layers to get down to the root of it. So I want to encourage you to follow what comes up for you first and foremost. If you feel called to work on a particular chakra, not because of a physical manifestation, but just because you feel called to it in some way or another, it can come to you in any, again, follow your intuition. I don't care if it's a dream or if it's just a thought or if you read a thing and you're like, that sounds important. Follow that impulse. Ooh, Zach, that sounds like so much fun. Working a NoFX show today? Dang. So, follow your impulse. Feral Farm, panic in heart and left arm is where I feel it. So start with your heart. A lot of times, again, once you start working with one piece, what you're going to do is relieve the symptoms so that you can then find the lower, what happens before that. So the most important parts, hey Chris, good morning, in everything I do. Thank you, Mullet Cookie. We'll talk about it afterwards. I would love that. I do need some mods. So, Derek, yes, follow your intuition on which ones to work with. Also, know that no matter what practice you do, no matter what practice you're engaging in, what are our 4 pillars of mindfulness? Right? Someone asked if we were talking about meditation before. I'm talking about mindfulness. We come from a place of mindfulness here in this space. What is mindfulness is really just being present in the here and now, right? It's cultivating presence. It's cultivating awareness of the present moment. And as we work into it, it's cultivating awareness of the deeper and deeper subtle layers of reality. That is also inappropriate in this space. I had a feeling today, guys. Mullet Cookie, are you going to hang out here for a little bit? Because I'll go ahead and just mod you right now. Because it seems like we've got some busyness in here that could be using. Yeah, okay. Remember how to do it. Got you. And I'm sure you've heard me talk about it, Mullet Cookie, and for anybody else who's moderating, hey Heather, anybody else who's moderating, I do appreciate the opportunity to respond to folks when it's needed. Remember that this space can be like sitting in a park, right? And we have lots of people that come running by. Some people come screaming by and yelling obscenities and they run off and that's it. Some people come in and at first they're a little obtuse or attention seeking, and then they end up staying and having good conversations. So I really appreciate my moderators being able to kind of sit with those first few interactions, unless it's like what I just saw here, which was just flat out inappropriate, right? So if you see the flat out inappropriate, go ahead and mute. I don't give you the chance to block people because I don't want people to be blocked. I want people to be able to come back in and try again. I want people to be able to show up again, just like a church or a temple. There is a way that we cultivate the space in that space. If you come in and you're disruptive or disrespectful in that space, you are going to be ushered out. That's not because you're not welcome. That's because it's a level of personal responsibility is required to share the safe space, right? There we go. Okay. Thank you guys. And again, I so deeply appreciate how responsive and helpful my community here is. I really, really appreciate you guys. Again, I made a video about it yesterday, so I hope you all saw it because I said a couple of thank yous to you guys. I couldn't do this without you. I don't have a lot of moderators, and I don't even need a lot of moderators. I just need 1 or 2 to be able to actually do the mute. The rest of you do a fantastic job of holding space for other people. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Derek, yeah, feel free. That's the thing. Feel free to ask questions. Again, let's try to keep it on topic of energy and chakras and mindfulness and whatnot. But we were talking about the 4 pillars of mindfulness. Okay? These are really important. And if you're new here, listen up because this is the foundation of everything that we do here. The 4 pillars of mindfulness: intention, attention, curiosity, and willingness. Your intention is your North Star. This is your guiding light. Your intention is set with your values, your desires, the outcome you hope to get, right? So if my intention in my practice today is to fill my cup, right? Okay, so today we're working with the crown chakra. So I'm going to set my intention today to be to fill my cup with that yang energy, with that solar energy, because it's the middle of the day. So I'm going to receive that solar energy into my system, and it's going to help fortify, strengthen, and repair and balance my system just by using this mudra in a little bit of a meditation. That is my intention. When I sit for my practice, I'm going to bring my attention to my intention over and over and over. When we sit in meditation, oftentimes we think that we need a clear mind, that we have to get perfectly silent within, that we have to achieve some altered state of being, or we have to receive some cool visuals or what have you. All of these things are actually the benefit of the practice, not the practice itself. The practice itself is cultivating the awareness of here and now. And we do that by bringing our mind monkeys back to center. Sometimes it's like herding cats, right? Sometimes your mind is busy as a bee and you're like, I cannot quiet down. It's okay. You don't even need to be quiet down. You don't even need your mind to completely quiet down. The thing that we focus on is we set that intention, and then we realign our attention with it again and again, again and again. And we can use an anchor, okay? So if I'm sitting in my meditation and here's my mudra and I am got my eyes closed and I'm breathing with the practice, right? I might need an anchor to help bring my attention back to the here and now. That anchor can be my breath. That anchor can be turning my eyeballs toward my third eye. That anchor can be focusing on the feeling in my palms. That anchor can be focusing on some visualization where divine prana is like flowing down over me, right? Whatever anchor works for you. Use that anchor to help bring your attention back to the present moment. Those are just the first two pillars. Your intention, set your intention, and then we bring our attention back to that again and again and again and again. And when we do this, what do? We are exercising a muscle of sorts. We are training our brain in a way. We are familiarizing ourselves. We are creating a habit around the practice of mindfulness. That will lead you into meditations where your mind goes quiet. That will lead you into meditations where you get these amazing visuals and you have a visceral experience. That will lead you into those places. But we don't start in those places. We have to cultivate the foundation first. So, intention and attention, right? We're doing that practice. As we're doing that practice, we meet anything that comes up with curiosity and willingness. Because if I meet myself with shame, guilt, judgment, anything like that, I'm going to pull myself out of the present moment. And I'm going to create tension within me. Tension is usually not the place where we can find rest and relaxation. Yes, peace of mind. So to avoid creating more tension, we meet anything that comes up with curiosity and willingness. And when we do so, over time, again, it creates space within you to meet parts of yourself that may feel a little more vulnerable, that may be a little more delicate, that may be a little more quiet. Have you ever heard the saying that the body whispers? You won't hear those whispers unless you take the time to listen and meet it with curiosity and willingness. You could take the time to listen to yourself, but if you meet yourself with aggression and shame and guilt and any of that kind of stuff, it's not going to facilitate a quality, trusting, loving relationship with yourself. And that is the foundation, again, for every bit of work that we do. We build upon those things. Derek, you've always found that meditating brings you back full center when your life is scattered. That's so good. That's so good. It took me a long time to cultivate a practice, a meditation practice that allowed me to do that too. But it was through focusing on these simple things. Not the meditation itself, not the style of meditation, not the mantra, not the mudra, not the visual, not the anything. Just, what is my intention? And I'm going to bring my attention back to here and now, again and again and again and again, again and again and again. How can one use this practice to help with addiction to food? Low key Lavender, I like your name. So again, we're going to sit here for a few minutes in our meditation in a few minutes. The mudra for the week is the crown chakra mudra, and it's done like so. You bring your hands together, palms facing forward to create a triangle, and then extend the rest of your fingers. We bring this and we hold this up overhead for anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes. If you can't make it 5 minutes, again, meet yourself with curiosity and willingness and do the 2 minutes or 3 minutes that you can do. We are not in the business of creating a battle within ourselves, so we meet ourselves with curiosity and willingness. When my arms get too tired, I rest my arms down and I give myself a break without shame, without guilt, without any sort of chiding or anything like that. So, to answer your question, we are working with the crown chakra. The crown chakra, when, careful with your wording, because I don't want to say disconnected. You don't get disconnected. Can the channel get closed up? Almost, like not almost, what am I trying to say? It doesn't get cut off. The energy always flows in, but you can really tighten up that channel, restrict that channel so that the flow is very limited. When the flow of infinite prana, of the universal life force, is low, what do we find ourselves doing? But groping for finite resources, aka addiction. Whether it be to food, codependency, relationships, intimacy, job, substances of other kind, sleep, depression, aggression, all these imbalances can be linked to restricted, limited flow of the energy body, of this universal life force. So, sitting with this mudra for 5 minutes and balancing your crown chakra for 5 minutes is not going to just wash your hands of an imbalance. This is a dynamic system that shifts and changes quite frequently. So during the day, you may be out of an imbalance addiction space for some bit of your day. There may be a certain part of your day where that particular need gets triggered because of an energetic shift that happens. And it could be a habitual shift that happens, or there's, again, I can't get too deep into your personal thing, but I can if we work together. However, you're eating cookie dough right now. Are you enjoying it? You're very welcome. So this is why I work with energy. This is why I work with mudras. This is why we use these techniques in this space, because working with the energy body can affect all layers of self. I'm not just treating symptoms. I am peeling away the layers of unknowing, of unfamiliarity, of imbalance, so that I can realign every little piece, every little block that lives within me, not just of my physical body, but of my emotional body, my cognitive body, my spiritual body, my energy body, right? All of these layers are outside of and within me. And the body itself, the physical body, is the check engine light. The stack of stones, right, called a Carin, C-A-R-I-N or Y-N or something like that. The stack of stones. The very top stone represents the body. Because if any of these other stones are out of alignment, what happens? The top stone wiggles. You cannot move one of these stones and this one not move. That is why these things manifest in the physical body, so we can address them, so we can address the layers. But what happens in the physical body is often a symptom of something happening on another layer. And again, in particular, and this is why I've been really enjoying talking about the chakras lately, because I see a lot of it out in the world. The limited flow of infinite life force When that is restricted, we see the imbalances that we have in our culture, in our families, in our friendships, in on social media. These imbalances, the folks coming in and needing to be attention seeking, or just outright rude for no reason. These are indicative of imbalances, which is also why I invite people in when they come up that way. Our systems seek reordering. They devolve into chaos, yes, but they also seek to reorder themselves. And so these imbalances, the expressions of our imbalances, we can see as our systems cry for help. These symptoms that come up, the habits that we have, the self-talk, the way the eating habits or substance habits or way of speaking to other people or way of relating or fear of doing other things, all of these things are actually the system seeking to rebalance itself, not the system attacking you, not your system out to get you. It's an important shift. That's why we meet ourselves with curiosity and willingness rather than shame and blame and guilt. Shame and blame and guilt says you're wrong, you're broken. Curiosity and willingness says there's something here important for me to learn, and I'm open to receiving it. Yes, headaches. So headaches, issues with the eyes, ears, racing thoughts, things like that are all related to both the crown and the third eye. So when we're working on the crown, we're bringing energy into our central energy channel that flows through all of the chakras. So this working here is going to assist with everything, honestly, from headaches all the way down to issues with your feet and knees, hips, back, spine, neck, shoulders, heart, gut, digestion. This goes and flows through absolutely everything in the system. It's a little bit more acute when we work on the other chakras because they are interactive in our finite reality. So they're going to relate a lot more to the things that happen in certain parts of the body versus the crown and the root, which are really about the whole system, the way the whole system functions. So, without further ado, I'm going to adjust here, and we are going to... Sounds like you need to work on your crown chakra. I would recommend work on crown chakra for anybody and everybody. It's a good maintenance thing. We are going to go ahead and sit for a meditation. Again, because this is arms over the shoulder, over the head, I have not been holding it for more than 5 minutes. I personally have a condition here in my shoulders that makes that difficult to do so. So we are only going to hold it for 5 minutes, but we are going to continue the meditation with a visualization. So hold on. Let's rearrange here. Okay. Go ahead and find yourself a comfortable seat. Remember, because we are working on the crown chakra, ideally you do want to be upright. You can be standing, you can be sitting, you can be leaning back a little bit in a chair. I only suggest not to slouch because you're working on the central energy channel. So we don't want to restrict movement just because we're slouching like this, right? If you need to lay down, honor where you are, please and thank you, and enjoy the meditation from a laying down position. If you can sit upright, then please do so, okay? Again, our mudra for the crown chakra is to bring palms facing forward, bring the hands together to create a triangle, but with the index fingers and the thumb. And then we bring this up overhead. And we're going to sit for 5 minutes with this mudra, and we're going to add some visualization and a little bit of breath work, okay? So if it is available to you, go ahead and close your eyes, and we're going to begin with 3 deep breaths to fully arrive for our practice. Begin by inhaling through the nose, pulling the breath through the lungs and all the way into the belly. And sigh it out. Inhale again, lifting the heart and lifting through the top of the head. And sigh it out. Inhale once more, expanding the rib cage in all directions, front, sides, and back. Hold to the top. Take in a little more air. A little more. A little more. And let all of it go. Keeping your mudra overhead for as long as is available to you. We will sit for 5 minutes with the mudra overhead, and I will let you know when those 5 minutes are up. For now, go ahead and seal the lips and follow the breath. The inhale, follow it all the way to the top, and follow the exhale all the way to the bottom. We were talking earlier about our intention and our attention. Go ahead and set your intention. It can be to just experience the mudra, have a nice meditation. I encourage you to find something gentle, something flexible, something that feels appropriate for you in this moment. That intention could be to balance your system. It could be to receive the benefit from this mudra. Whatever works for you. Set that intention and then find your anchor. You can repeat your intention again and again and again in your head if you'd like. You can just listen to the sound of your breath and let your thoughts rise and fall the same way your heart rises and falls on your breath. Your thoughts are just as temporal as your breath. Allow them to come and go in the same fashion. If listening to the breath is not heavy enough of an anchor, you can choose something else. Again, you can choose to focus your attention on the tip of your nose. You can focus your attention on the palms of your hands. You can listen to the sound of your breath. You can say a mantra to yourself. Whichever tools feel appropriate for you, feel free to use those. And take your time just breathing nice and slow, finding a comfortable rhythm that's not too slow, not too fast. Letting the breath soften, deepen. Create space here in the present moment. Stay with the breath. If you would like to stay here, you can just stay here in this space. If you'd like to add a visual, I invite you to imagine that the divine flow of prana is coming through this triangle in your hands and down into your crown chakra. Allow the visual to manifest however it does. Sometimes it might look like water, it might look like air, it might be clouds, it might be sparkly, it might be warm, it might be wiggly, it might be all sorts of things. Again, just set the intention to receive that energy through your crown chakra, through this mudra, and see what manifests. Sometimes we get a visual, sometimes we get a sound, sometimes we get a sensation. Meet them all with curiosity and willingness and keep breathing. Receiving that divine flow of prana. As we exchange breath with the finite universe. Allow yourself to sink into the practice, bringing your attention back again and again to your anchor. mind chatter happens in the background, far, far away, like watching clouds pass in the sky. Inhale and exhale. If you'd like to continue holding your mudra, you're welcome to do so. It is past our 5 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and release my mudra and place my hands palms up to continue receiving that flow of universal life force. Stay with the breath. You can stay here with your visualization, with the breath. If you'd like to add a mantra, feel free to use your own. I like to use one as simple as, I am a clear and ready vessel for universal prana. I am connected to divinity. Life force flows freely through me. I am connected. I am a vessel for the divine. You can say several different mantras. You can choose one mantra. I encourage you to take your pick and refocus your attention. Universal life force flows freely through me. Universal life force flows freely through me. Continue bringing your attention back to the practice, any part of the practice that holds your attention best. I am connected. I am a clear and ready vessel for divine life force. Check in with your system for a moment. Scan from head to toe. Any tension you find, go ahead and intentionally release that tension. Let it go. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Relax your toes. Relax the tension in your left thigh. Let your elbows hang by your side. Lift through the top of the head, elongating the spine. Allow the heart to rise and fall in the chest gently. I am a clear and ready vessel for universal life force. I am connected. I am guided by inner wisdom. I am guided by divine wisdom. I am connected to my divinity. I am one with the universe. I invite you to offer a gentle smile to yourself, to your heart, to your breath, to the sensations that you might be feeling from this practice, to the lightheadedness, to the full feeling you receive from this life force flowing through you. Offer a gentle smile of gratitude. You may stay here as long as you would like, and I encourage you to do so as long as is available to you. When you feel complete, I invite you to bring your hands together into prayer, or simply lay one over the other over your heart in gratitude for today's practice. In gratitude for that universal life force that is always available to us. In gratitude for the opportunity to align these magnificent meat bags with that universal life force, to heal, to grow, so that we may thrive. Offer yourself some gratitude for taking the time for self-care today as well. You are so worth it, and I'm really proud of you for making it today. Even if it was just a few minutes. And thank you again for helping me cultivate this space where we can thrive together. When you are ready to come out of meditation all the way, please do so slowly. Offer yourself wiggles, stretches. Only opening your eyes when you're really committed to coming back. I don't think I want to. I really liked that meditation. I think I might go back. I don't think I'm coming out. Oh, my live was restricted during meditation. I love that. We were meditating. That's dangerous. Again, like I said before, guys, if you want to interact with this content, if you want to interact with the things that I teach, if you want to talk more at length about them, get into these practices, please come join me in the Discord. As you can see, the social media platforms actively hide my stuff. Apparently they're unfollowing people from my accounts, and yeah, the analytics are completely whacked out. It's absurd. It's absurd. So instead of fighting the algorithm, instead of fighting the platforms, I created our space in Discord. I created our space in Discord so that we can chat about this stuff, so we can practice this stuff, so I can share these tools, share these practices in real time without fighting the algorithm. What's the Discord? Okay, so Discord is a community platform space. A lot of people use it for gaming and things like that because you can share screens in there. I don't use it for gaming, but I'm not opposed to it. I just don't game. But the link to get in free to our Discord is in my bio. There's a link tree in my bio. That'll get you the link to join the Discord. That'll get you the link to send donations if you feel so, if called to do so. That'll get you the link to grab a membership if you'd like to support the work that I do regularly and get benefits from it, including access to my live class replay, to the replay archive. You get priority content requests. So for all of my members, when you guys ask me a question in a comment on a video or ask me a question in the Discord or something, I try to make content specifically for you so that you can download it, keep it, and have the answers. Derek, I'm so glad that meditation hit home for you. That was a really good one for me too. So the link is in my bio. Go to the link tree in my bio and you'll see how to join the Discord for free. Again, so I want to explain to you guys how this kind of works a little bit, because we're creating this really awesome community space. We have I like to use my little tray for this. We have our outer area where I teach classes. This is social media platforms. This is where you see me live on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, or other places. If you ever want to see me live in a particular place, please let me know, because I have the capacity to go live in different places. So if you'd rather see me on Facebook or rather see me somewhere else, I have a slot for that. So let me know. That's our public space. And we are pushing and pulling with the tension of social media and the algorithm and these platforms. Once you join the Discord, that is so the outer area is our CAYA community. This whole thing is our CAYA community. CAYA, C-A-Y-A, stands for Come As You Are, because your authenticity is the purest expression of that divine life force that flows through you. If you're on this journey home to yourself, your authenticity is home. So that's what we go for in this space. And we cultivate a space where it's safe for you to show up just as you are. Even if it's messy, even if it's silly, even if it's weird. This is a space where you can talk to people about things that there aren't a lot of other places to talk about. Okay? And do so with guidance and with compassion and grace and yeah. Okay, so that's our CAYA community that's our CAYA community. Then we have our courtyard. Our CAYA courtyard is the Discord space. You can get in for free to the CAYA courtyard, and this is where we're like, yeah, I saw you live, but I want to interact more. I want to talk more. I want to have a discussion about this. We're going to sit around this courtyard and chat for hours on end about mudras and meditations and chakras and cool shit like that, right? Maybe we'll hang out and dance and some shenanigans and things like that. Once you grab yourself a membership, you find your way into our CAYA Sangha. That's our inner temple. That is which allows you to access things like group coaching, private coaching, energy work, private astrology readings. I work with, I'm an herbalist. I'm also a nutritionist. I'm a death midwife. I do home funeral planning. I do birth care and birth planning. I'm a child development specialist, as well as a counselor and a life coach, a reverend. So I do a variety of things are offered within the Sangha, but those require a membership. Why? Because those require more of my time. The only thing I charge for now is my time. The information that I have spent all of these years collecting and developing, paying lots of money for and spending hours in school for, all of that stuff is my gift to you. Because these tools that I share in this space are the tools that have not just shifted, right? Changed things about my life. Oh, that was a nice thing to shift, but I am talking about tools that have literally saved my life. I have walked with depression. I have walked with PTSD. I have been diagnosed with things like bipolar and fibromyalgia and such. And I do not. I should say it a different way. And these tools have brought me back into balance, have brought me a sense of peace that I was not able to find with any other modalities. It's important to remember, though, I am not your guru. I am not anyone's guru. I am not I don't even like using the word healer, because I don't do the healing. This is your work to do. And I think we do each other a grave disservice when we tell each other, no, you can't do it by yourself. Let me do it for you. because then you don't get to experience the process of coming home to yourself, of healing yourself, of learning to trust and support and protect yourself. These are tools that we really need, especially in today's world, where our very attention and time are being harvested. Our very attention and time are the resources, that the finite resources that are being taken, that are being cultivated. When I was a little girl, I wanted nothing more than to save the world from pain, from any kind of suffering. I wished I could wave a magic wand and take away all of the hurt in the world, as little kids do, right? I discovered, after years and years and years of my own imbalance, finding rebalance and realizing the imbalance that was, I have found that it's far more effective to give you the tools so that you can find your inner captain, so that you can hear your inner voice, so that you can hear your intuition, because your intuition, your inner voice, your direct connection with your higher power, your inner critic, all of these parts of yourself are you. And when it comes down to it, if you want to make a change, if I were sitting here in meditation and I guide you through the meditation, it is up to you to cultivate your attention. I can't do that for you. I can't set your intention for you. I can speak these things and you can nod your head and yeah. But if you let your mind wander off to a million things and you never try to cultivate that intention within, you won't receive the benefit because you didn't do the work. And I know a lot of people out there groping for somebody else to do the work for them. You can't lead a horse to you can lead a horse to water. You can teach him if you can give a man a fish, right? There's a lot of fish sellers out there. There's a lot of people pulling on horses and pulling them to the river and saying, "Damn it, drink of what I told you is supposed to be. This is it. This is the answer for you." I'm sorry. The only person who knows the answers for you is you. And until you learn to trust that guidance, to trust yourself, to be able to use what comes in and reflect, allow it to bounce around within you until it finds home and resonates, or let it go when it doesn't. Again, many, many, many of us are groping for finite satisfactions for an infinite need. Millet Cookie, what'd you say there? A master is someone who masters self. A true master creates more masters. One candle illuminates the others. You remind me of a story that I read some time ago about a monk who was beginning to do this work, who had finally committed himself to the practice. And when he went to his teacher was teaching him about universal love, unconditional love, and what that felt like and what that looked like. And of course, being young and new on the path, he did not understand the feeling of it, the experience of it. And so his teacher did a meditation with him and lit the fire of universal love in his heart. Didn't light it, actually, showed him where it was. That this light exists within you. This is your spark of divinity. It lives within you. It is unconditional love. And if you fan the flames of that fire, not only will it engulf you, but it'll catch ablaze every heart you come in contact with. This is how we change the world. This is how we heal the collective. This is how we thrive together, is not by carrying each other's burdens, not by fighting for finite resources, but by tapping into and utilizing the universal life force that flows through us all, that connects us all. We are not solitary creatures. We do not thrive on our own. Can we survive on our own? Yes. We do not thrive on our own. In fact, biologically, we are designed to be around other humans. And when we are not, our system falls out of balance because we are isolated. Can you do this work alone? Sure. Many of us have, and many of us will continue to do so. But I can guarantee you there is a benefit to doing this kind of work in a community, to cultivating a safe space for yourself and for each other. It changes the experience. And I invite you into this space, whether it's just here on the lives for a while. I gotta let this fly out of the house. or if it's in the Discord. Or if it's grabbing a membership. Or if it's coming to group coaching. We do group coaching twice a week. Or if it's private coaching. If you want to work one-on-one with me, snag a membership. But remember that I really only offer the long coaching, hour-long sessions to folks who grab memberships. I don't do single 1-hour sessions anymore. I don't do a la carte sessions anymore. Why? Because that's not about my bank. That's not about me. That is about your willingness to make a commitment to yourself. Do you have to buy a membership with me to commit to your spiritual path? No, not at all. You can make the commitment and never pay anybody $1. That commitment can be as small as 5 minutes a day. It can be as big as 5 hours of practice a day. That's amazing. If you can get 5 hours of your own of your personal practice every day, oh my goodness. But that's not available to everybody. And it's okay to start with 5 minutes, but it's imperative, if you are building a trusting relationship, it's imperative to be consistent, yes? And if you take 5 minutes a day, consistently giving yourself self-love, time and attention for just 5 minutes, set your alarm in the morning for the normal time, right? Give yourself a 5-minute snooze block in there. When the alarm goes off, hit the snooze button, and for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, love the shit out of yourself. Tell yourself all the things you need to hear. Remind yourself of all the things you need to hear. Let go of the worries and the fears, and when they come up, treat them with compassion and love. Just 5 minutes. Really, is that going to do a whole lot? Try it out and tell me. If you can make a commitment to those 5 minutes every day, and you want to work directly with me, we can do that. If the dollar bill sign is keeping you away from the services that you would like to receive, please do not hesitate to ask for alternatives, because I love trade and I need some support. I need tech support. I need a video editor. I love to do my video edits, but there's a ton of content and I need somebody to help me clip that content. I'm happy to trade memberships for that. I also need a developer to help me build an app so that we can cultivate a truly inclusive, safe space in our app rather than using public platforms. Hey, Mr. Marshmallow, how are you today, my friend? So, or if you have something else, another service or a product or something that you offer that we can exchange, I am totally open to that kind of stuff, because the dollar bill is not king. And it's not about me padding my bank account. Do I need to pay the bills? Yeah, absolutely. I've got to keep, the internet running and my phone running and whatnot. But beyond that, this is about cultivating a community where we can thrive together, where we can learn to, where we can find our inner captain, where we can find our locus of control. Because there's a lot of places and people and institutions and things that would have you be manipulated, that want you to watch their commercial, want you to see their ad, want you to buy their product, want you to use their service, not because it benefits you or is right for you, but because it makes them money. Again, this is not that space. If you're here, be here for you. That is what this space is for. Finding our inner captains. If you're familiar, I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but I highly suggest looking into internal family systems as a way of understanding the self and the layers of ego self, as well as the inner captain. because we all have different parts of self, right? Whether it be the protective, strong arm self, or the vulnerable inner child, or the despondent woman, or the aggressive road rager, or the playful, silly self, or the angry self, or the business self, or the intimate self, or the. We have all of these different aspects of self that reside within us. But if we've never taken the time to cultivate relationships with these selves, oftentimes these selves grab the steering wheel and drive us directly into the storm. If I have a habit of, I don't know, my captain is an expert navigator. My captain, just like yours is, your captain has the maps, knows how to use the compass, knows how to read the maps. Your captain knows where we're headed. Your captain may not always tell you where we're headed in the long, long run. That's a discovery. That's a journey of discovery. But you wouldn't let the steering wheel drive the car. Yet we let our emotions drive our behaviors. It's the same thing. Your emotions are not wise like your captain. Your emotions do not know the long game. Your emotions do not know how to align the compass with the map and the stars and the whatnot to get you to safe harbor rather than dashing upon the rocks. So if you are tired of feeling like you keep driving into the same storm or driving into the same wall or the same car crash keeps happening over and over in your life, come into this space and use these tools. They are specifically designed to help you find that inner captain. To help you bring that inner captain forth so the inner captain can navigate through the waters of life. But only that inner captain knows where you are going. Again, I can't do that for you. I can't decide your destiny for you. Do I have a bunch of tools to help you, to help reflect back at you so you can find it for you? Yeah, I do. Yeah. We can talk about destiny and fate and purpose and things like that. Not from a place of any particular dogma, but from a place of energetics, from a place of foundational interaction with the world. How we become who we are and how we discover ourselves along that journey. It took a long time, it did, of me pushing other people's healing on them, of me weaponizing my desire to heal the world, right? Isn't that a funny thing? In my own imbalance, what I thought was the right thing to do, martyring myself on other people's doorsteps kind of deal, just to get their problem solved, find their healing, find their alignment. But it was out of my own imbalance. And out of my own imbalance was not bringing them back into balance, but usually just exacerbating their imbalance as well. This is what we see. Thank you, friend. This is what we see with codependent relationships. This is what we see with the twin flame journey. A lot of times that twin flame energy in a relationship is because of the puzzle pieces that fit of my imbalance here invites you, my deficiency here invites your excess here. My excess here invites your deficiency there. And then we have the empath and the narcissist who get together because we have way imbalanced will and heart and voice and sacral and root and these things. there's this idea that the brain is out to get you, that your body is against you, that your mind is attacking you with all the obsessive racing thoughts, that your body is fighting against you because of the pain or the discomfort or the misalignment in your bones or in your back or in your neck or what have you. I invite you again, this is why the pillars of mindfulness include curiosity and willingness. When we meet ourselves with curiosity and willingness, we have the space to offer compassion. We have the space to offer grace. We have the space to accept ourselves for where we are and be honest with ourselves about that and loving with ourselves through that. Although, Mullet Cookie, you said, although in the right place, twin flame can be beautiful too, depending on where you are at. Yes, thank you for saying that, because I also wanted to, I don't want to negate the twin flame journey. If you are conscious of how that operates, you can use the twin flame journey to realign yourself and your partner. Can you both find healing together through that relationships? 100%. Yes. Without the awareness, without the willingness, no. You will be stuck in a perpetual cycle of the same habitual problems, the same habitual imbalances over and over and over again, because they will exacerbate them in that scenario. You can follow pain to your healing just as much as you can follow non-pain to your healing. There is a lesson, there is a gift in each. I have tried the twin flame journey, and to be honest, I have found it really difficult to find an other that fits my imbalances that is willing and ready to do that work with me. And maybe I just haven't found that person yet, and that's okay. Where I'm at now, I'm doing a lot of this work for myself, so that next time I find a relationship, that if, right? I've been celibate for several years now working on this, because the process of learning to love yourself really is a foundational process. And the amount of love that I can receive is directly related to my capacity to love myself. If I cannot love myself, I feel shame and guilt around myself. I will not have the space to receive the love and compassion from others. I would like to receive an abundant kind of love. I would like to be in a partnership with someone who is personally responsible for their choices and their actions and can communicate that. I am building that relationship with myself. I would love a relationship where I felt safe. I have to feel safe within myself, because someone else can offer me all the safety in the world, but if I feel insecure inside, there is nothing outside of me that's really going to change that. Things can help. Things can usher me in a direction. Things can give me insights and reminders and reflections. But how I meet those, how I use and integrate those, that's far more important than what I receive, is how I receive it. Not what, but how. Thank you, Desbian. 5 years celibate for you? Yeah, I think I'm on year three-ish, I think. Aw, coffee lover, I'm grateful. And that's why I'm here, guys. I'm here sharing these things because they have brought me home to myself. They have brought me peace. They have brought me a kind of centeredness. Healing, yes. Am I healed? No. That is a lifelong journey that I'm excited to take. And I used to look forward to the end of that journey a whole lot more. Now, I revel in the moments of the journey, the in-between space. And for those of you who know me, who've been around for a while, right, you know that I come from a good bit of chaos. Sounds lovely. To be honest, too much trauma at others' hands. Yeah. But guess what, Tara? I had to accept the ways that I was walking into those situations, the ways that I was cultivating trauma at the hands of others in my own life. Because we are not completely non-complicit. We are not completely not, you know what I mean? Like, we always have choices. The degree to which we exercise those choices and the choices that we exercise are going to lead me in certain directions or not. And the more responsibility I take for that, the more my locus of control is squarely inside of me. This is something I discovered through my early healing, right? As a teenager, going to therapy and into my 20s, and hearing and working with support groups and things like that, and hearing a lot of people, including myself, blame my past, my parents, my teachers, my whoever, for how I was now. And I looked around me and saw everyone on a different pill, and everyone after years and years and years and years and years of this same cycle of blame. From chaos comes knowledge and maybe wisdom. User with a bunch of numbers. Chaos and then reorder, and then devolve into chaos and then reorder. Tara, I want to sit with what you just said, because you said you don't know how to view SA through that lens. Absolutely. And this is a really delicate line to walk, because I want to be mindful, this is not victim blaming. I have been through several episodes of SA, some in infancy. There was nothing I did in that moment to walk myself into the situation where grown-ass adults did horrific things. That's why I'm not talking about blame. I'm not talking about shame. Do things happen to us that are not our fault? Yes. Can we use those to learn how to protect ourselves from those things in the future, to learn how to cultivate different situations and relationships in our life? Yes. Is it going to prevent us from ever being victimized again without our consent? No. This is the concept of how pain is an experience of life. Pain is something that we experience in life. What we do with it is where we either receive benefit or lead ourselves into suffering. And that was the key for me. When I was in my early 20s, I looked around and I saw everybody in similar situations from me in suffering, in constant suffering. Because they had no control over what happened in the past. And you don't. Sorry, friend, I don't go live with people. Oh, you are a friend of mine. Thank you very much. But would you send me a message next time about going live together? I'm happy to choose time to go live together or to chat about things, but I usually don't invite people up in the middle of the live. I was giving away my power. I am this way because these things happened and there's nothing I can do about it. In fact, that's what my therapists and medication, right, psychiatrists were telling me. Well, you're just going to have to just take this pill for the rest of your life. There's nothing you can do about it. Oh, well, you have PTSD. Go book yourself into the crazy house, right? And that just didn't satisfy me. You mean there's no healing involved? There's just symptom treating forever? Then this is not the way for me. It was not the way for me. Because I couldn't agree to being broken for the rest of my life and having no say in it and having no ability to change anything. So I sought different tools. And that ended me with 20 some years of education and experience in the field of human development and wellness. There's a lot of tools out there. But I have found that the most important thing is how we approach the pain that we experience in life. Tara, no, I won't go that way either. Feet in the ground, cold river dips, and trying energy healing. Yeah. Honestly, it was turning away from Western medicine was probably one of the most healing things that I did. Because Western medicine is not intended to treat the whole self. It's not intended to treat the long-term self. It's, allopathic medicine. It treats the symptom. It doesn't help you find the core. Now, are there modalities that are Western medicine modalities that are helpful, important, useful? Yes, absolutely. I'm not saying that they're all bad. I'm saying that in terms of longevity, of realignment and thriving, thrival, right? These things are available within us. You take Flintstone vitamins? That's the key. That's how we all survived the 80s. Stuff tough. In your opinion, the most important thing is wealth redistribution. I guess if money led us all to our healing, then that would be a fantastic thing. Is it a part of security and overall health in the world we live in? Yeah. Finances, healthy finances is an important thing when we live in a world where that is the currency. But it is not the only currency. And when we rely only on that currency to find our wellness and peace and whatnot, we lead ourselves to further imbalance. Mullah Cookie, enjoy your podcast. Yeah, Tara, sometimes we learn what we don't want to be. You said mother was massively medicated, swayed me the other way. So was mine. I think a lot of women, yeah, we are led that direction. And men. I don't want to say that one way or the other. Many of us are led that direction. But I feel like more so women because it's culturally appropriate for us to take those medications for being, what is the word? What is the old? Hysterical. But that's to also note that men get left out of treatment too. That's a whole nother side of this topic of how we approach our healing, how we approach each other's healing, how we approach imbalance when we see that people are out of balance, how can we meet ourselves and each other with compassion, with willingness and curiosity. I don't see a lot of it happening. Some, yes. Pockets, yes. But it takes a great deal of courage to set down your own judgments, your own opinions, your own lenses. It's not easy to do. To truly make space for someone else. To have their own perspective and their own experience, especially when it's opposite from yours. It doesn't invalidate it. That's the beauty of this universe. Two opposites can absolutely be true. Mullet Cookie, we need to really be careful with our children, especially the boys. Yeah. Boy mom here. And having studied human development and wellness, the culture that we live in is not conducive to your thrival. The culture that we live in is conducive to compartmentalization and being a human doing, right? Your value is only in your output, is only in what you create in this finite reality, is only who you serve, is only what you give away. But that is imbalance. I cannot only exhale. only exhale. I have to inhale as well. But then we say, oh, I don't need self-care. I don't need to take care of myself. I'm just going to give away to everybody else. You're constantly exhaling. And then when you finally inhale, it's this frantic need for self-care. Well, because the rhythm is out of balance. Stuff tough. You say you need to go back in time. You know you logically can't, but you can't stop wishing it. I am certain that we can fly, that humans can fly. So I'm with you on that. You can't stop wishing it, can't stop thinking about it. When I was little, I used to dream about flying in such a visceral way that I would get up, and my sister and I shared a room, so I'd get up and I'd stand on her bed and I would jump to mine because I didn't want to jump on her, but I would get up out of those dreams and I would try because I was like, I can feel it in my body, how I can fly. I can still feel that feeling. And I would wake up and do that. Don't let go of that. Remember that when we are born, our brains have thousands more synapses. What are synapses? Synapses are the information highway in our brain and in our body. You have synapses in your body as well as in your brain. Synapses are where the electrical impulses move through your body of thought, of breath, of digestion, of all of these things that happen. Synapses are the information connections there. When we are born, our brains have thousands more of them. Thousands more than we end up using as we grow. Like, majority of people lose thousands of these connections. So what are we capable of? We're only using some small percentage of our brain. What is the rest of it capable of? Ooh, Mullet Cookie, you're always descending in your dreams? Interesting. There's always a roof in my dreams. Even when I fly, there's always a container. There's always a box. I've done astral projection, and there's not one during that. But when I'm dreaming, when I'm in the dream time, there is always a ceiling. There is always a wall, even if it's outside. It's always tickled my brain to think about those thousands more synapses that we have available to us and what those are possibly capable of. Is that where psychic ability exists? Is that where the ability to levitate exists? Is that where the ability to be a breatharian, right, exists? What are we capable of? What are we not using? And without getting too nefarious about it, I know that there are forces in this world that would not have us use our full capacity now. Your full capacity to make choices for yourself, your full capacity to heal and balance yourself, your full capacity to stand in your confidence and find your authenticity, your authentic expression, your full capacity to care for each other and to be connected and aligned. It doesn't make Western medicine any money for you to heal yourself. The business of medicine wants you to stay sick. Those that would harvest your time and attention do not want you to cultivate your own locus of control in terms of your attention. They want to siphon your attention without you fighting back at all. No resistance, no tension. Just sit down in front of that TV and believe what comes out. Just keep scrolling on social media, because we have cultivated a polarizing list of false and sometimes false and true, but you're not going to be able to figure out what's what. So, is this by design? Yeah. Yeah. Because it's effective. Individualistic society purposely keeping people trying their best to one-up each other instead. Yeah, wellness integrated solutions. Yep. Stuff tough. There's a country where doctors don't get paid if a patient is sick? Interesting. I'd love to hear more about that. Derek, what are my thoughts on Kundalini? I am a Kundalini yoga teacher. Kundalini yoga is a style of yoga that I was really drawn to in yoga teacher training in my yoga school, because it is working with the energy body. It's working with the energy. Yes, regular yoga does affect the energetic self, but Kundalini specifically works with the energy system. So I really love Kundalini for that. And they have a lot of practices that are really powerful to experience. I occasionally do Kundalini Kriyas as a 40-day challenge. I did one at the beginning of this year. I think I did one last year too. I might do another one here soon. I have one that I'd like to do. And when I do those Kriyas, I usually come on live every single day for 40 days so we can practice the Kriya together. If you're interested, let me know. But, okay, so as far as kind of what's happening these days, I suppose, right, in the world, I see a lot of people pushing really hard for their spiritual experiences. And in particular, Kundalini seems to have taken getting a lot of attention, partially because it's so effective, and it has outlined Kriyas are specific sets of actions that we do for a specific outcome. So it's a really quick way. If people want to go search online and find themselves a Kriya, they can start practicing some very intense practices very, very quickly. I caution against this. I caution you. I guess not even against it. Just be mindful, because the reality is that their spiritual psychosis is a very real thing. You can push yourself too hard. You can hurt yourself in this delicate, vulnerable inner reality if you are not gentle, if you are not being aware and present. No, Kundalini Yoga was not made up by that particular person. There have been many teachers along the way within yoga and within the practices of Kundalini. And one particular teacher, or any teachers, humans are fallible. Humans are fallible. We are subject to our own ego and our own imbalances. And many times, people who choose to lead others from that position of I am your guru, follow my way, are operating within imbalance. Prith, we can chat about it. Again, you can go ahead and do more research on your own. I'm not going to argue the history of Kundalini Yoga here and now. If you'd like to explore it, you absolutely can. Yogi Bhajan is not the only person who practiced or taught Kundalini. And again, because one human is fallible, it would be like saying you can't trust anything in the Bible because humans read it, because humans wrote it. We do not condemn an entire practice because one guru or another guru was out of balance. It is very unfortunate, and that is why we need to be mindful of the gurus that we follow. We need to be mindful of the people that we give our energy and our trust to, which is why I'm not teaching you as if I am your guru. I am sitting here giving you guys the tools to explore these things on your own. so you can decide what's for you and what's not. Oftentimes folks coming at you as a guru saying, I have the way for you, I have the answers for you, are operating in imbalance, and they do not. Can you receive information? Can you receive wisdom? Can you receive teachings? Can you receive tools? Abso-fucking-lutely. The important part is the integration of those and reflecting on whether or not those practices and those tools are truly right for you. If these are supportive to your growth and to your path. Is Kundalini Yoga effective and powerful? Yes. Do we throw the entire baby out with the bathwater because Yogi Bhajan was imbalanced? No. To do so is to negate the value of the entirety of the practice. To do so is to narrow your ability to conceptualize of the effectiveness of the practices because you've tied it directly to a singular person. You could say the same thing for Tantra Yoga. There are a lot of instances in Tantra Yoga where people who are imbalanced taught the practice and brought people into unhealthy situations. Humans are fallible. We do not need to be so narrow-minded about practices, about tools. Tools are tools. The hammer doesn't hit the nail. The human has to use it. I can hit my thumb instead of the nail or somebody else. That's on me, not the hammer. So again, we can approach these things with curiosity and willingness, and when you do so, you open yourself the capacity to understand deeper and to learn more. But if you throw the entire thing out because one person, that person, did things that you don't agree with, then you're going to miss those tools. And that's a choice that you can make. If you don't want to touch Kundalini because of that particular person, my friend, there are a million other things that you can learn and you can use in this world. So do that. You are wasting your time and energy yelling about your opinion about this, about an entire set of tools. My question is often, how much of those tools have you personally experienced? How much of them have you worked with? Have you sat with Yogi Bhajan himself? Have you sat with the practices? Have you sat with Kundalini International and the other organizations right now that are developing evolution of Kundalini evolution? I forget what they're calling themselves now. There are several schools that are extending the knowledge and understanding, the tool set of Kundalini, so that it can evolve with us. Again, to negate the entire set of tools is to limit yourself. And again, if you want to limit yourself, limit yourself. That's up for you to do. But do not demand that other people limit themselves because you don't agree with their use of the tools. That's your judgment. That's for you, not for someone else. An indication, a quick indication of imbalance is someone's arrogance to come and say, no, you're wrong for using a tool that works for you. Did you know that person who also used that tool is a fucked up person, so you shouldn't use those tools? I wasn't even talking to that person or about that person. I am using the tools in the way that work for me. Who are you to say that those tools cannot work for me because you don't like that person? That's an imbalance. And you can learn from that imbalance. Yes, Gigi, what did you say there? Though you will likely always find something to throw everything and anything away over. This is how that infighting, bickering, bitching at each other kind of tension is created and isolates us and separates us and keeps us ignorant and arrogant. But if we can come in and, obviously I don't agree with what Yogi Bhajan has done. Abso-fucking-lutely not. And there are other people in that community that I absolutely don't fucking agree with either. Do you hear me talking about them? Do you hear me sharing their name? Do you hear me sharing their quotes? No. I am not going to parrot back something that I don't agree with. But if you follow Yogi Bhajan, I am not going to redirect you away. There are lessons just like Osho, just like other names like this, just like Christianity, just like Jesus, just like Allah, just like the fucking Quran, just like whatever you choose that aligns with your truth. If you feel the freedom to be authentic and you within that, then my friend, follow your truth. But it does not give you the authority to deny someone else their truth. That is not authentic. Authenticity is the recognition of value in self and other, love for self and other. The space, recognition that this world, this universe is big enough for me to believe what I believe and operate in the way that I operate, and for you to do the same. And that in that, we do not need to fight each other, negate each other, put each other down. You do not benefit at all from dismissing the things that work for me because they don't work for you. No one benefits from that. Steph, I love you too. Hey. Dawn, that's a way I really love to say it too. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. We have to step outside the box to see life. Those of you who've been around, you know my little thing here. This little prism right here. All of creation, all of this finite reality is encased here in this little prism. And each of these facets is a different version of the same truth. I might see the world from this facet right here, and I'm going to meet a bunch of people who also see the world from this facet, and they're going to agree with me, and we're going to be able to talk about all the things that we agree with each other, and the shared ideas and shared tools and shared values and morals and way of living. But while we are over here, there is an entirely other tribe of people over here at this facet, directly opposite my beliefs and my values and my way of life. But they still are true in their reality. This one is just as valid as this one. What happens when light hits this prism of experience, of this finite reality of experience? It fractures, yes? It splits into the full spectrum of light. Humanity is that spectrum. Is the light through the prism of experience. And so we can experience all the different spectrum of reality. Because the light itself is the one, is the knowing, is the everything, is the all-encompassing. And if I know everything, then what do I have to learn? If I am everything, I don't have anybody new to meet. And so there is value in the light being split by the prism so that we can experience all the colors available. This is why we approach each other with curiosity and willingness. Because in my curiosity about your opposite perspective, I can understand something. Now, it is possible for me to meet somebody with curiosity and willingness and them to not meet me with curiosity and willingness, right? I get to learn something in there, and so do they. There is a lesson, there is a gift in any perspective, in any way of operating. But I have found that curiosity and willingness create a lot more space for discovery than arrogance and limited thinking, right? Even within me. Phone call. Even within me, there is this prism of experience. It's micro, macro that, right? Even within me, the prism of experience, the light, the divinity that comes through me, just like it comes through everyone, everything, gets split into all the different colors of experience. And that is my journey. My journey is to explore these different aspects, if I choose to. My journey could also be to explore only the color red. This is where we can start talking about free will. Does free will exist? Sure. To a degree. Don, you say, you know, everybody wants to know how we can change, but this is exactly how we can change. Yes, and life offers us a single constant. Change. There's a single constant that we can be certain of. Change. If we are rigid, if we are stiff, when that change comes through, it's going to hit us a lot harder than if we can remain flexible and fluid. You can fight against the river of life. You can fight against other people's opinions. You can fight against many, many things. You can create tension inside of yourself and outside of yourself as much as you would like to in this world. And I am not here to tell you that that's wrong. You do you, boo. You are your own guru. There is something to learn in creating tension your entire life long. But recognize that you can choose that, or you can choose this. And if you're used to choosing this, this feels unsafe, uncomfortable, and fucking weird. But sometimes we got to get it a little weird. Sometimes we got to get a little uncomfortable to make space for growth. Remember that the definition of being brave, right? Bravery is not being scared. Bravery is about being scared and doing what needs to be done anyway. Doing the right thing anyway. Don, you say we cannot resist. We have to let go. Absolutely. And again, I only play semantics. I often don't mean to negate people. I play semantics a lot in my head because it's very particular. It's important for me. I want to shy away with, again, saying that we cannot resist, because we can. Tiziana, would you say how many things I did thinking it was my will and it was still programming? Yes. When you start doing this work of peeling away those layers, the layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of realization that, oh shit, that is still programming. And when you get this layer down, then you're like, oh my God, there's another one underneath, and there's another one underneath, there's another one underneath. Yes, but as you continue to do that work, eventually you find the core of who you are, the one that's not programmed in. And you can interact with all the different programmings because that is your captain. Blue Heart says, sometimes rigidity is needed in society. Yes, and, right? As we have it now, we have a very infantile relationship with the powers that be that tell us we don't know how to operate ourselves, we don't know how to heal ourselves, we don't know how to function as a group. We need excessive amount of laws and regulations. And for example, a great example is birth in this country. When you go to the doctor when you're pregnant, they will give you a very long list of things not to eat, not to do during pregnancy. Some of these things are commonly done during pregnancy in other countries. In fact, if you look at what that recommendation is in the US, it is more restrictive than almost any other culture, than almost any other country. That is a kind of rigidity. And then why are we doing that? To keep you safe, they say. Because it is, to keep you safe. We don't want you to risk. An example, eating sushi, eating cheese, drinking wine. These are all things, eating raw meat. These are all things that are done depending on the different culture that we absolutely do not, cannot, well, they say do not, cannot do here in this country. And again, it's meant to keep you safe. It's meant to reduce risk. But in that risk reduction, in the excessive risk reduction, we actually miss some things that could be needed. So yes, in this culture, we have a kind of rigidity that can be helpful, but can also be too restrictive and limit us from our ability, for example, herbal remedies. Herbal remedies are something that are accessible, that we can easily use to heal ourselves, to align our bodies, to treat our symptoms without having to pay for really expensive medications or go to expensive doctors. But these things are not FDA approved. These things are even oftentimes not recommended. Depending on the country, they're illegal to even use. Why? Because they don't make them money. Because they're unsafe, because they can't be regulated. That is a kind of rigidity. But it is not a kind of rigidity that supports our well-being. It supports the padding of the pockets of the people who are making those rigid rules. So we have to make sure that we are examining these things, yes? Just because the rule exists does not mean the rule is meant to benefit me. Which is why I need my awareness to look at these rules and to look at these boundaries of my culture and the rigidity of my culture and say, is this appropriate? Chemtrails have destroyed all herbal remedies. I spray these chemicals. Thank you for the absolute comment. All herbal remedies are not, you can still use herbal remedies, guys. Do we live in a world that's toxified? Yes. And that sucks. It's really bad. But does it mean that you should not go and seek medicine out of your yard? No, it doesn't. Now, if you're getting your yard sprayed directly on all of this stuff, I don't recommend making a tea out of it. That's probably not a good idea. Find a place that's not being directly poisoned. But don't let something like that comment, which is chemtrails have destroyed all herbal remedies. You better just go to your doctor and pay them for the chemical version of it. Beth, your body naturally wanted things it needed. Yeah. Our bodies are very wise when we learn to listen to them. Trey, you enjoyed a breathing exercise? I'm glad. Good. Yesterday? Malcolm, again, I understand. I believe you that there are chemicals that are being laid on the planet. But I'm not going to tell people not to seek herbal remedies because okay, water has bleach and other things and terrible things in it, right? So should we just all stop drinking water then? That's what I'm saying. It's the absolute nature of the comment that's like, all herbal remedies are now completely toxified. So yes, our planet is laden with chemicals and toxins, and that's horrific. But that doesn't mean that the resolution is to seek more chemicals in the system. It's not about believing you or not. It's about the perspective and the fearmonger-ish like comment that says they're all terrible. Hi, Native Heart. How are you? We can do plenty to avoid a big chunk. We may not avoid it all. Woke up a few days ago craving something. Oh, yeah. got my blood results and you're anemic. The body, again, the system seeks reordering. The system seeks to reorder itself. Yes, it devolves into chaos so that it can reorder itself. Every time it devolves into chaos, it usually lets go of something, shifts something. Ooh, Karis. Did I say that right? You're doing your PhD thesis on... well, I can't even say that right now. What's released during breathwork? Nice. I am absolutely geeky about like the science-y part of meditation and mindfulness. I have been doing this work since I was younger, since in my teens, intentionally going to therapy and intentionally doing these things and then studying these things. I really love to look at the development of, for example, I started in child development and I ended up with a degree in human development and wellness across the lifespan because I found correlations between the energy work that I was taught as a child and the stages of Erik Erikson's development and the stages of Piaget's development and the stages of several different other theories of child development, of human development. They align perfectly with the development of the chakras. And it helps us explain, it helps us understand how we end up with these imbalances as adults. It is super cool. I spent many years intellectualizing my spiritual journey and my spiritual experiences as a child and the energy work that I was taught from my family. And being able to take that understanding, more Kapalabhati breathing, please, Trey. I'll have to make you a video, friend, so we can do it. But learning all of those, the sciencey, the measurable sides of these things helps my brain make sense of the physical experiences, the visceral experiences I'm having. When I was growing up, I was experiencing energy on a very, very, very tangible level. I would go to my doctor, I would go to my stepdad, I would go to my teachers, and I would ask them about these things that were happening inside of my body and it happening when I felt other people and all these other things. It took a couple of years for my mother to finally say, okay, we're going to teach you this now. And it was from my mother. But before that, my culture denied me any of that truth. They said, that's bullshit. It's in your head. It's just made up. It's just your body. It's whatever. It's whatever. You're just a kid. You don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, you cannot tell me that this is fake because somebody raises their voice at me and this twinge in my heart happens and it sends it all the way down into my fingers. Guess what? And then I study acupressure and acupuncture, and it turns out that there are meridians, energy meridians, that are directly related to exactly the pathway that I was experiencing. Oh, so there is a body of knowledge around this stuff that we can use in the experimental way that we rely on for our truths and our facts. Yes, it's really out there. Yes, go look at the Heart Math Institute. The Heart Math Institute has been working since I think the 60s or 70s on researching the heart, what the heart is for, what the heart does. Because guess what? What do we learn in school? The heart is a muscle that pumps the blood. Did you know that it does a whole lot more than that? Yes, I heard you, Trey. I don't respond. I don't negotiate with terrorists. No, sorry. That was a pirate in the head. I'm not doing Kapalabhati fire breath breathing right now. Again, you can join me for other classes, or you can make a request, and I can make some content for you of the practice, but we're not doing it right now. So, the coolest piece for me was bridging this gap between the spiritual experiences that I was having. I was pulled out of body as a child during some really traumatic, violent experiences. I was literally pulled out of my body to watch the experience happening across the room. Strangely, my church couldn't even answer what was happening. I was dismissed in church as well. So, what did I do? I studied. Yep, you were dismissed too. A lot of us were. And I couldn't put it down because it wasn't something that was just in my imagination. It wasn't something that was just in my dream time. It was something that when my stepdad, who was often the perpetrator of the abuse in my household, when he showed up, when he drove into the driveway, before he got out of the car, I could tell you whether or not that man had a good day or a bad day. I used to joke that my trauma developed a superpower for me because it was necessary for my survival to know whether or not what mood that person was in, because he could come in the door and I could say, hey, can I go over to my friend's house? And I might end up purple because I asked that question. On a good day, I could ask and I have no problem, and I'd go to the thing. But I had to know beforehand. I had to be scarce, or I could feel safe. If I didn't know that before he walked in the door, the reality was I could end up seriously hurt. So yeah, my system used the tools available to it to protect me. Some of the when we understand the way the human system develops, not just the brain, not just the body, not just the energy, not just the chakras, not just the relationship with spirituality and whatnot, when we understand how all of these things are interrelated and how they influence who we become, we have the capacity to heal and align ourselves with much more efficiency than when we ignore the reality of our system. And Western medicine by itself ignores the reality of our system, the dynamic nature of our system. Karis, it's hard as an adult dating people who don't have the intuition developed from childhood trauma. I know, right? And oftentimes what's interesting too is that the spaces we settle into because of those early experiences, whether they be intuitions, boons, or weaknesses, right? These will influence the way that we operate in our day-to-day reality. These will influence the person I become, the way that I speak, the way that I hold my body in any situation, the people I bring into my life, the work that I choose to do, the way I choose to dress, where I choose to live. All of these things are influenced by my system, by the balance or not, imbalance in my system. An example I really like to use, Karis, because you mentioned dating there, and we were talking a little earlier about twin flames. The example I like to use a lot is that because of my early experiences I have a deficiency here in my solar plexus. Am I working with it? Am I healing it? Am I finding more strength here? Absolutely. Every single day. It's a journey. It's an experience that I'm still working with. The reality is that because of this deficiency, this is my center for will. This area develops between the ages of, hold on, let me remember. The root chakra is in utero till about 6 months. The solar plexus, or the sacral chakra, is from about 6 months to 2 years, 18 months. And this is from about 2 to 4, I think. I think that's the approximate. I don't have the chart in front of me. So during this stage, Erik Erikson's stages of development talk about this as the center for autonomy and shame, autonomy versus shame and doubt. This is my center for will. In the chakra system, this is my center for my ability to affect the world, my ability to set boundaries, to throw a spoon and have somebody pick it up, to state what I need and to interact with, to move things around and not have somebody knock over my fucking tower of blocks, right? That's what we are doing during this development. So, because of those early experiences that taught me that my attempts to do those things, to protect myself, to interact with the world, to be in control of a situation, were very severely thwarted. So a big thing that I work with is the confidence, is simply confidence, self-esteem, the strength to set boundaries and hold them, and to feel good about it, and to say, this is my space, you are not allowed in here. That deficiency caused me to seek out people who have an excess. This is the twin flame journey. This is what we were talking about before, where we puzzle into each other. This is the very classic empath and narcissist. Empath, who might struggle to exert their will and have maybe even additionally a very excessive heart chakra. This is often the empath. Excessive heart chakra, lack here, deficient in the solar plexus. So what are we going to attract? Deficient heart chakra, excess solar plexus, arrogance, narcissism, overly controlling and need for hard boundaries, anger, aggression. These things come from here. In Eastern medicine, we talk about our liver is where we hold our anger. In Eastern medicine, the liver is your center for anger. It's right here inside of your solar plexus. All of these things, this is the magic that I found when I studied these things, when I went into these schools and did all the digging, right? They all relate. They all correlate. So what happens? I realize that my pattern's been patterning for fucking years, and I keep choosing partners who end up smacking me back into my place. How the fuck do I do that? Why the shit do I keep doing that? Why? Because it's familiar. Because it's familiar. Because there's a need that I have energetically that gets satisfied by the other person. Is it a healthy balance? No. Can it become a healthy balance? Yes. You need the awareness, the curiosity, the willingness, and honestly the courage to look at myself and say, I don't know how to protect myself. I don't feel safe exerting my will. I can honor that, I can recognize that, but also acknowledge that that is not what is happening right now. That is not who I am right now. Actually, I am going to be 40 this year, and I have a loud fucking voice, and I have set boundaries now that I'm still learning how to maintain. But I also am not inviting people in, because when I'm not inviting people in that have that energy, because as soon as I feel that, does it feel familiar? Yes. Do I have to invite it in and make it tea and ask it to marry me? No. I can use it as a mirror to say, oh, I feel that again. And now that I've done this work and met myself with compassion and curiosity and learned a bit about myself, I know that when that gets triggered, it's not attraction. That's not a good partner. That is my pattern that I'm walking away from. I can tip my hat, thank it for all the previous experiences of being overpowered, and I can stand more fully in my power. I keep asking you, I'm sorry if I missed your answer. Am I correct, pronouncing it correctly? Karis? Karis or Karis? Karis? You ask, do you happen to know why hyper intimacy develops? Yes, that is in the sacral chakra. Sacral chakra, this is developing again between the ages of 6 months to about 2 years. This is our area of intimacy. This is our center for nourishment. Eb, do I work with one-on-one to assist people with the exact experience? Yes, I do offer one-on-one sessions. There's a couple of options to do that. I ask for a membership, because if we're going to start doing this work, it's not a one-off session kind of thing. So I make sure that the memberships are manageable. I usually charge $90 an hour for the full hour sessions. I'm no longer doing that. I now have a $55 a month level where you can get 1 hour of coaching with me per month. If you want further, we can build on top of that. All of the memberships are available. I don't want to get too sidetracked by talking about it. All of the memberships are available on my Patreon page. There's a link in my bio that's now my link tree. It'll get you to my Patreon page. You can leave donations there if you'd like to support me offering this information for free, because this is what I do. I come on live 4 times a week. It's going to be more times a week now too, offering these tools, talking about these things, answering questions. If you grab a membership, I prioritize making content for you. So if you want to ask about this question, you want me to make content about the hypersexuality, hyper-intimacy, and the sacral chakra, I can absolutely do that. Absolutely Linktree, or not Linktree, Eban. Okay. Yes, there are memberships available. Yes, I do work one-on-one. I work one-on-one with very few people at a time because I invest a lot of my time and energy into it. Beyond that, I do offer a membership with group coaching. So if you want to get in and do coaching with me, sometimes it's just me and somebody else. So you might get one-on-one by accident with our group coaching. But our group coaching also sometimes is a nice, really full room. So you can get help that way. Please note, as a side note, if the dollar bill keeps you out of those memberships, please reach out to me and ask about alternatives. I am totally open to trades, and I do have a need for moderators, video editors, as well as other things. So reach out to me. Always ask the questions. Always spark the conversation if you want to get more involved, if you want to have more time with this work or work one-on-one with me. Do I meditate? Yes. I teach meditation. I teach these tools, these mindfulness tools, so that you can realign your system. I am not your guru. I'm not going to heal you. That is your job. You are your guru. And if I'm offering anything here, I am offering the tools for you to find your inner guru, your inner captain, so that you can bring your locus of control right back here, so that you can stop being manipulated by other people's energy, by other people's manipulation tactics, by the gaslighting of this fucking world and other people and the situations in life, by the perpetual self-gaslighting that we end up doing and pulling ourselves further and further and further away from our own healing and away from our own balance because of sheer ignorance and nothing else. Ignorance is a state of unknowing. And we can acknowledge that. I'm ignorant. There are things that I am ignorant about. But I am not going to pretend that I am arrogant about the things that I am ignorant about. Right? I'm going to approach even the things that I know things about with curiosity and willingness, because I might know how to meditate. But when you tell me about the way you meditate, there might be something I have never thought of in there, and I can benefit from it. I am not the expert. I am not anybody's master but my own. I am not anybody's guru but my own. And anybody, honestly, who tells you that they are your guru and are your master, I would be wary of them. This space is not about me padding my bank account. This space is not about me gaslighting you or tricking you into something. It's why I don't talk a ton about the memberships and things. If you ask me directly, I will absolutely tell you. If you want to go read about them on the Patreon page or in the link tree, all the information is there. If you have questions, please reach out to me directly. I'm happy to answer them. If you don't agree what I'm doing and you want to tell me, feel free to reach out. I appreciate the mirror, whether it's a positive mirror or a negative mirror. But I do ask that in this space, we all approach each other with curiosity and willingness, because it gives you the opportunity to learn and to grow, right? Tim, I know everything and know nothing, that a strange thing but true. Yes. The more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. But in my unknowing, I can begin to understand myself, the universe itself, the deeper and deeper subtle layers of reality that are available to me when I approach it with curiosity and willingness. Instead of, I know. Because look, it's immediately, what that was my gesture was already defensive. I know. This is what you do. I know. Oh, I've heard of that. Or yeah, I've studied that. What do you have to say about that? Because I might live right here on this little facet. You might live over there on that facet. And when we come together and we talk about our separate facets, our opposite facets, I get to see the world from a perspective that I will never be able to stand in unless I listen to you, unless I hear what your perspective is, and I acknowledge the value in it. There is value in every color of the rainbow. In every moment of morning, noon, evening, night, we can operate in the world as if the world is black and white, day and night, up and down, right or wrong. But what we're missing when we do that is this full spectrum of experience. Again, what happens when light goes into a prism? That pure white light, whatever, that's all around right now, we get that right here, and what does it do? It splits into the fractals of experience, into all the colors. Only the ones that I can perceive, obviously, because there's actually more colors that we don't even see. If I am only operating from this side, I am not going to see all the colors. I have to talk to people who live in red and purple. I don't know. I don't even know what color I'm living in, so I don't even know. So, Karis, I wanted to return to your question. We got a little sidetracked there, but you asked about intimacy addiction. You asked about excess intimacy, and I want to talk to Tim. You don't make me feel anything, friend. Again, I have been working with energy since I was a little girl, and I have boundaries around my energy. And again, starting next week, I will actually be teaching you guys next week. We're going to be talking about the energy system and how to protect your energy field, as well as how to clear away attachments. Because one of the most common things I see happening in this world is people are groping for finite resources. People are groping for other people's energy to try to satisfy the need for an infinite source of energy, right? And that's what happens when we're imbalanced. So when I am imbalanced, when I have if there's an intimacy addiction here, this is an excess of this energy here. This is my center for intimacy. This is my center for nourishment. This is my umbilical cord to the universe. During this stage of my development, I am learning whether or not the universe is going to respond to me when I cry out for help. Does the universe, do my caregivers respond to my needs, or am I left by myself? I am very vulnerable at this stage. And how am I treated? How is that vulnerability cared for at this stage? This is our center, the foundation for our ability to set boundaries. Physical boundaries, emotional boundaries. This is our center for our emotions. This is our center for fluidity, for movement. This area, this chakra, also addresses issues of the joints, of the legs, of the knees, of the back, of the hips, as well as intimacy, as well as our digestion, right? And assimilation of nutrients. When there is a need that was not satisfied, that is not satisfied, or the boundaries were the vulnerability was so disrespected that this energy overcompensates by chasing the finite resource here. More intimacy. More intimacy. More to satisfy my need for my genuine needs to be taken care of. Does that intimacy addiction actually fulfill the satisfying the need, the balance that I need here? No, it doesn't. It's going to get me perpetually in the same habitual cycle of, it's like eating junk food when you actually need a quality meal. When your body needs vitamins and you're just eating bullshit. That is what a lot of us are doing energetically with each other. Particularly in our relationships, particularly with our children, with our partners, with our parents. with our coworkers, with our friends. One of the quickest ways for us to siphon energy is from other people. We can do it from substances as well. We can do it from other habits too, overworking, going to the gym, right? We can boost deficient solar plexus by going to the gym and working out our bodies and getting all yoked out. Does it actually build my confidence? It might help me build some confidence, yes. But there's a degree to which it can be so imbalanced where it perpetuates my imbalance. In Ayurveda, we talk about this a lot too, because in Ayurveda, there's the concept of wellness in the sense that when we are in balance, the system stays pretty much in balance. Does chaos have to happen? Yes, it's the cycle of death and rebirth and whatnot. So I may fall out of balance because of illness or because of growth or something that needs to happen, okay? And then my system goes to return to balance. Now, if I am imbalanced, if I am doing something that is imbalanced, it might pull me off balance. Let's say, for example, eating spicy food, right? It might not be appropriate for my constitution to eat spicy food. So I eat a little spicy food, but then it's not that much, so I come back into balance and it's not a big deal. If I'm perpetually eating spicy food, there is a tipping point, just like gravity. There is a tipping point to which the imbalance will start to pull me further into balance. And my system cannot by itself rebalance because the weight of that imbalance is so heavy. So what do I need to do? This is when I need to start working on the imbalance and find where the imbalance is. To note, if the scales are already tipped, your measurement will always be off. If I am already in imbalance, then my measurement of situations is going to be based out of my imbalance, not from a place of balance, from a balanced assessment of the situation. That is why I offer these tools. That is why I believe it's imperative for us to work on an energetic level using these tools to cultivate the awareness of where those imbalances are. If I want to pick a partner that's really aligned with who I am and the way I want to live my life, I need to make sure that I am balanced in those things, or at least more balanced in those things, so that I can resonate with and find that partner that is in balance as well. But if I'm out of balance with these things, I'm going to keep searching for people who fit that imbalance piece of the puzzle. The deficiency here and the excess here. So I need somebody who's going to fit. Ooh, that was interesting. My brain just like attached that to the whole beauty standards in our Western culture, how it's okay for men to have more of a belly and it's typically not for women. I just suddenly saw that as like an actual cultural recognition of an excess solar plexus and a deficient solar plexus. You see that, Chris? I was like, wait a minute. His belly fits right into the lack of mine. Stephen, you say what was hard was when you lost a loved one and went through intimacy withdrawals. Yeah. And that's a very real thing. And it can indicate, again, where that person was satisfying a need for this energy here, for that intimacy. And the gift now in that, in your experience now, can be that you get to explore how to satisfy those needs on your own, rather than trying to get other people or another loved one to do that. And when we've had really quality intimacy, really quality relationships for an extended period of time, and then we lose those relationships, we are often find that the other relationships we go for don't really satisfy the need in the same way. Because there's the familiarity that's missing, because there's the comfort that's missing. But again, our familiarity, our comfort, can be our imbalance. Eban, feels like there's been an attack on my solar plexus since birth. This should be taught in schools. Yes, I agree. This is one of those things that I used to, like I said, I started working in child development, and I wanted specifically to work with kids. I didn't realize I was going to go down this rabbit hole. There are ways that from intimacy, we cause our children imbalances. They're culturally accepted ways. They're culturally appropriate. Or culturally pushed to the side and never looked at, right? Certain types of abuse in the household. Certain types of I have to be mindful with what I say. But there is an attack on the solar plexus. This is my center for will. This is my ability to be powerful and autonomous. But we culturally, that doesn't make anybody money. Business-wise, capitalism, that doesn't make anybody money. They will give you a false sense of self-esteem so that you keep buying the things that continue to perpetuate your false sense of self-esteem. You notice that? It's a throwaway culture. So I'm going to keep buying the finite things, the things that don't really satisfy my needs, like excessive intimacy, like external versions of confidence, right? Like falsified relationships or fake foods that don't actually satisfy my real needs, so that you'll keep buying them. And this is why I want to give you this is why I want to help you find your captain, your locus of control, your center again. So that you will stop being pulled by these finite resources and you will discover the infinite resource that's available to you. It's going to look different for every single person. So I can't be your guru. I can't give you healing. I can't tell you what it is. But I can give you the tools and you can try them on. And I can show you how to use them. And as we learn, as we practice them together, as we use them together, we collectively heal these things. If I am going to change the world, if we are going to change the world, we have to change our inner world first. If we're going to affect the world outside of ourselves, we need to align ourselves with our North Star, our intention. We need to meet ourselves with curiosity and willingness so that we can discover what's within. Because the gravest misdirection is to be led away from your personal power. I didn't say arrogance. I didn't say aggression. Personal power. Authenticity. Authenticity is the purest expression of your divinity. Authenticity, divinity, is unconditional love. Authenticity is the acceptance of value of self and other. Love for self and other. My authenticity does not need to deny you your authenticity, because I am not pushed and pulled away from my truth by your energy. Keep the coins. I'd like change. Change is the one constant we have in this universe. Change is the only constant. How do you move with it? Do you move with it at all? Does it smack you upside the head and knock you down every time it comes? Because you're clinging to rigidity and hoping to keep yourself static, stagnant in a universe that moves? One of my favorite stories, and I haven't told it in a little while. You can actually find a cute little video of it, an animation done of this story on YouTube. And it's by Richard Bach. And the story essentially goes that on the bottom of a river, there were all of these little creatures. All of these little creatures clinging to the rocks and the reeds as the water flowed over. The river continued to flow in its direction. And as the river flowed, all of these creatures, they clung. They clung to anything they could cling to, and they clung to each other. And they would remind each other, don't let go, don't let go, don't let go. Because as soon as they would let go, what would happen? They'd be rolled upon the rocks and disappear down the river. So obviously, those clinging, that looks scary. That looks painful. I'm not going to let go. I'm not going to let go. That looks awful, right? And they tell each other for generations and generations, generations and generations of clinging, clinging. It's all that they know. As the river runs by, they know only to resist the current. But as always happens, right? Every family has one. Finally, there's one of these creatures who just says, I cannot cling. I cannot do this. My arms are tired. I'm exhausted from fighting the current. And the rest say, don't let go, don't let go, you'll die. And the one says, I will surely die here clinging. So there is no reason not to. And what does this one do? Finally lets go. What happens when it lets go? It is rolled upon the rocks on the bottom of the river, smashed and dashed out of view. And those still clinging will remain there clinging. But that one, yes, initially it hit the rocks. But what happens is that the river lifts that creature from the bottom. And that creature now floats down the river. No tension, no holding, no clinging, experiencing the life of the river in a completely different way than when it was clinging. And what happens as the river carries this one down the way? But it comes across more clinging creatures. And as it flies overhead, as it floats overhead, it looks down and it says, just let go. All you gotta do is let go. And the ones clinging to the bottom look up and they go, oh, Guru, Messiah, Enlightened One, oh, you are so special. You float through the river of life. We could never do that. All you gotta do is let go. Like, just let go. Like, just let go. But we'll be smashed upon the rocks, yeah, for a sec, but then you'll be lifted up if you just let go and quit resisting. At first, the shift is hard. At first, the shift is uncomfortable. At first, the shift is scary. Doing something new is scary. But if we can meet it with curiosity and willingness, life does lift us out of suffering. Hey, Nicole. And instead of seeing those who are doing that work and being upset or calling them gurus and masters and wanting to do exactly like they do, we can recognize that that capacity is within all of us, Tiziana, and it's so hard for some. It is. I'm not saying it's easy at all. That's part of the story. There's that fear of being hit upon the rocks, and guess what? You do get hit upon the rocks. If you have been operating in imbalance, operating out of your imbalances, the life that you may be living right now may be out of alignment with you. And there may be some major changes that have to happen. And those can look messy as fuck. Those can feel scary as shit. It doesn't mean you can't do them. Simple, not easy, Brian. Yes, well, isn't that the thing, right? Sometimes the simplest things to speak about are some of the most difficult to understand. To understand from an experiential level. So this is why we're here. Getting down to the very grass, basics, foundational stuff. your intention, your attention, curiosity, and willingness. These are our 4 pillars of mindfulness, because with these 4 pillars, we can construct our temple. We can rebuild our ship, our vessel. We can clear out our instrument so that we resonate at our most authentic frequency. Glad you're here too, Brian. Because that's it. You are a prism. You are a vessel for that divine life force. And we don't even have to call it divine. We can just say universal life force that flows through everything. It flows through you. Attention, your intention, your attention, curiosity, and willingness. So I like to use the analogy, right, of the ship. Your intention is your North Star. Your intention is your guiding light, and you set it, align it with your values and your desires and your hopes for where you want to go. That is your intention. When I am traveling towards my intention, focusing on my intention, I bring my attention to that again and again and again. My attention is my compass, and it helps me align my ship again and again with my intention. So if I'm sitting in meditation, maybe my intention is just to enjoy the meditation, just to realign. I encourage you to set those intentions in a way that's flexible and fluid rather than rigid and narrow. If my pathway is that big, it's going to be harder to get my ship into that slip. But if I know that my North Star is to align my system, is to receive the healing that is necessary for me right now, then I don't have to try to fit myself into a narrow little pathway, because in my imbalance, I might think that that is the narrow little pathway for me. I know I want to be a lawyer. That's the job I'm going to do, and I'm going to love it. As I start walking down that path, things don't fit right, things don't feel right. But if I keep rigidly pushing myself down that path, I can walk myself away from my authentic purpose. Hey, Ree. Sean, you said attention means without tension. Yes. Yes. And when we do these practices, there are a million places in this world where you can use tension for growth and for healing. And sometimes it is helpful and necessary. For building muscle, you need tension to build muscle. It's just how the body works. When we are working in this inner space, I encourage you to let go of tension. I encourage you to practice the other side of that, which is not creating tension. Releasing tension. When I am holding a mudra, for example, let's just go the Gyan mudra, right? Simple mudra. When I'm holding this mudra, I don't create tension in my hands, in my fingers, and squeeze my fingers together. That tension, 1, disrupts the flow of energy. 2, is distracting to my body and my mind. But I hold it with intention. I keep my attention here. I've got to make sure that I have attention enough and intention enough to make this happen. If my attention wanders off, my fingers sometimes wander open. You ever tried this? Sat in meditation and your fingers accidentally open out of a mudra, or your head starts to float back because your attention is not aligned with your intention. These things start to happen when our attention goes other places. And so we cultivate that habit of aligning our intention and our attention in the present moment. When we do that, we become fluid and flexible. And when we meet anything that comes up with curiosity and willingness, then we do not create tension over again. We meet it with curiosity and willingness so that we can fluidly dance with it and allow it to pass if needed. Everything, okay, maybe not everything, this world is a finite reality that we are experiencing in, right? We are in this finite reality. Everything has a rise and a fall. I like to equate it to the breath so that when we're in meditation, we can remember that the breath is akin to the same rhythm of everything else in the universe. Inhale, exhale, birth and death, light and dark, give and take, order, chaos, ebb and flow, push and pull. What's funny, hey Andrew, what's funny is that when our emotions rise, just like the inhale, I am filled with this emotion. But unlike the inhale, which I immediately exhale, when my emotion fills me, I grab it and I hold it and I compartmentalize it and I take it by the throat and I examine it and I scream at it and then I put it back in my body somewhere. Can you imagine if we did this to our breath? Was that a big enough inhale? Are my lungs making that, like, oxygenating my blood enough? Maybe I need a little bit more. I don't know if there's enough is that clean enough oxygen? Are the chemtrails fucking up my breath? I don't know. Am I holding it too long? Should I exhale now? Is it time to exhale? Maybe it's not time to exhale. I don't think I should exhale because I don't want to bother anybody with my exhale. What the fuck? You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that. Inhale, exhale. Grief can rise within me and be let go. Anger can rise. Now you're going to do that, Andrew? Try it out. Thank you, Castle. It's my favorite analogy because when you look at it like that, you go, oh my gosh. What are your emotions but an exchange with the universe? Whether it's an internal stimuli or an external stimuli that elicits the inhale, remember to exhale your emotions. Your emotions are just as finite as your breath. They are not intended to be stored in your body. When they do, they're perishable, guys. If you store it in your pantry, it will start to rot. It will fester, it will stink, and it will cause imbalance. And then we go, no, I don't have anger issues. Nobody look at my anger issues. I'm going to totally pretend and tell you guys I am all love and light and peace, and there is no anger here. I'm going to hide this stinky fucking thing that I refuse to look at. And then when it rears its nasty, stinky head, I'm going to blame everybody else but me. You made me mad. You made me do it. That person did that thing. I'm justified in being angry. Actually, I've got a shit ton of smelly ass anger stuck here in my liver, and it was exacerbated by drinking alcohol for years to try to self-medicate the imbalance. But here we are now. And I have learned ways to use healthier tools to address to the deep well of stinky cheese that is my anger. My deficiency here in my solar plexus exacerbates the effect of the anger being stored here in my liver. Why? Because instead of a healthy expression of my anger or frustration or boundaries, I instead pull in and turn that energy inward and let it fester in my liver, let it mess up my gut, let it make it hard for me to eat because I'm so upset. You see how these things are all correlated, all connected, all intertwined, and sometimes out of balance. You see that? Intertwined. That was out of balance. How do I find balance? Thank you, Tanya. How do I find balance when I am so out of balance? How do I find abundance cultivate abundance if I have always felt a lack in my life? I don't even know what abundance looks like. How do I find love, the kind of love that I hope to have, if I've never experienced it before? How am I supposed to cultivate a sense of security and peace if I've never had those things inside of myself, if I don't know what those things feel like? Not in huge leaps and bounds, but in the tiniest little moments of meeting myself with curiosity and willingness, of holding space for my truth, of exploring the balance and imbalance within me and taking responsibility for it. Because yes, shitty things happen in the past, and yes, shitty things are going to happen. But I'm the only one in here. I am the only one who can reach these subtle layers of self. Can other people help me get there? Therapists, tools, teachers, gurus, whatnot? Yeah, totally. But I am the one who has to have the conversation. I am the one who has to bring my attention back to my intention. I am the one who has to bring my attention back to my mudra in meditation and notice if I am creating tension or I am completely losing my attention. So I bring the intention back. My guru can't do that for me. My therapist can't do it for me. But I can ride the waves of love you too, Andrew. I can ride the waves of experience, starting right here, right now, where I'm at. I can love myself for everything that it took to get me here, good and bad. I don't need to judge any of it. I can look at it and say, damn, you almost made it to 40. We're almost there. And yesterday was yesterday. Tomorrow is only in my hopes and dreams. I've got right now. So when my son comes in here to interrupt the live again, and it triggers my desire to be frustrated about it, because of my habitual lack of will and difficulty expressing those things, my body feels like it needs to respond to those threats as if it's a huge threat. But I can take responsibility for that. Remember, responsibility is my ability to respond. Most of us are reactive, which is repeating actions based on past experiences and past wiring and past memory. Reactive or responsible. I can make that choice in the moment. But I have to cultivate the awareness of the moment happening for me to have the space to pause and go, oops, okay, all right. I feel the energy writhing its way up. Part of me wants to yell. I want to throw something. I want to say something nasty. Okay, what can we do with that energy? How do we redirect that energy? How do we channel that energy? Maybe all it takes is for me to hold myself here and say, this is not a life or death situation. Look around you. There's no 6 times your size adult with his hand cocked back. No one is really threatening your safety. Look around right here, right now. And if somebody is really threatening my safety, then I can choose what to do about that. Or I can remain reactive and keep letting the same actions repeat themselves over and over and tell myself and tell other people in my life that I have no control over it. There's nothing I can do. You made me do it. No. No one can make you do anything. Barring, obviously, there's the degree of, like, physical force. Sure. Yes. Okay. But even if you put me in a straitjacket in isolation and starve me, there is a layer of myself that only I am responsible for. Does it get harder and harder and harder to manage that as the universe, as more things happen externally? Yeah, totally. But true strength is not strength of my muscles, my arms, it's not my ability to swing a sword. It is my ability to maintain my state of being. That is real power. That is real strength. And that's what we cultivate here. So, it is 1 o'clock here on the Pacific Coast. I am going to head in and have lunch with my son. Stephen, I'm glad you got some laundry done. So, I will say one last time, for those of you who are new here, hello. My name is Reverend Deborah. I am an interfaith minister, a movement facilitator, and your shenanigan shaman. Because, do we talk about serious things in here? Yes. But we don't take ourselves too seriously, because that is a form of rigidity and tension. If you would like to explore this content more, I am live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and I will probably be adding another live on Friday nights. Maybe. However, the platforms, the AI, the algorithm likes to hide my content, likes to restrict my lives, likes to take things off the FYP, likes to tell me that sharing mudras and meditations violates community guidelines. So instead of fighting the algorithm, if you would like to really explore this stuff together, come join me in the Discord. You're very welcome, Brian. Thank you, Nicole. There is a link in my bio. It is a Linktree link, and it'll get you to memberships on Patreon. It'll get you into the Discord for free if you'd like to join our Discord for free. So again, we have our CAYA community space. This is the external class free space. I share information at will. Feel free to come in and ask me questions. We do a lot of tools sharing, meditations, and various practices, okay? Then, if you would like to explore a little more, come into the CAYA courtyard. That is in our Discord. The CAYA courtyard is a space where you can hang out a little longer and have more in-depth conversations and talk to other people who are doing this work too, without the random folks running by and screaming obscenities, right? If you find yourself in the CAYA courtyard and you want more one-on-one time, group coaching, a deeper experience or a deeper exploration of these tools, you can snag a membership for that as well. We have group coaching. I offer one-on-one coaching, but I only take on a handful of private clients, one-on-one clients at a time, because I put a lot of my attention and energy into them, into each of you. So, you can explore memberships on Patreon. You can find my content on any platform that you hang out on. I'm at Move With Change on all the platforms, but the majority of my content is on YouTube and here on TikTok. There is a direct feed into the Discord for all of my content. So every time I post on any platform, it goes into the Discord. I am live on YouTube and TikTok, and then usually another place. Right now it's Instagram. Hi, Instagram. If you'd like to see me live somewhere else, if there's somewhere else that you hang out more that you want to encourage me to go to, let me know, and I'll go over there too. I have a replay library of all of these classes, of all of these tools. There's hundreds of videos over on my YouTube channel. If you guys will go follow me on YouTube so I can help build that channel with followers. I also have the membership. Any level of membership gets you access to my archives, to all of the replays for classes. Again, the information is free. The information is readily available to you. Most of the stuff that I share with you, you can go find on Google. I have spent more than 20 years in the field of human development and wellness with my own work as well as working with others. And what I share are the tools to help you come home to yourself. Because no one else has the answers to your healing. No one else knows what is right for you in every aspect but you. And in a world that would have you turn away from yourself to a million other inappropriate or finite ways to satisfy your needs, this is a space where none of that is going on. This is the space where we are looking for our inner captain. And I encourage you to find that captain and to show up authentically. The reason we call it our CAYA space, CAYA, stands for come as you are, because authenticity is the thing we're going for here. That is your purpose. That is your destiny. That is your dharma. That is your you, the truest you that you were meant to be. And we need each other. Humanity, as a collective, needs each and every voice, like standing in a chorus. If my tone is off because of all my imbalances, the song is not going to resonate exactly as it's meant to. So the more of us that align, the more of us that resonate at our authentic nature, the more we give permission for others to do so, the more we heal the collective. Friend who asked me, what if my inner captain is inappropriate? Then it is not your inner captain. We have a lot of ego selves, ego masks that would happily pretend to be your captain. And most of us are operating under the assumption that one of our ego masks are our captain. And if your captain is inappropriate or leads you into inappropriate places or causes chaos in your reality or is confused about where you're going, then it's not your captain. If your captain is approaching life with arrogance and narcissism, it's not your captain. Your captain lane can be manifested into any way that you would like your captain to manifest. It can be a deity or an image or a personification that you are already familiar with. It can be something all on its own. Brian, how do you find your captain? Stick around. Use these tools. Use those 4 pillars. Intention, attention, curiosity, and willingness. Your captain lives within you all the time. We are often blind to our captain. I found my captain tied up in the basement in a box. I put that asshole away because that asshole I thought was leading me in the wrong direction. Everything that we have become, everything that we are, is the body's, is the system's use, is the system's way of keeping you safe. Your system is always trying to keep you safe. Thank you, friend. Your system is always trying to keep you safe. And so the bad habits, the shitty self-talk, the aggression, the need, these are all attempts for your body, your system to realign. We need to step away from thinking that our minds or our bodies are against us or our enemies or are attacking us. They're not. They're working to keep you safe. They're working to keep you safe. And we can work with them. Lane, the system in me welcomes the system in you. I love to use the guru. The guru in me honors the guru in you. The divinity within me honors the divinity within you. We all have that spark of divinity that flows through us. Thank you too, Patriot. I love you. I love all of you so much. My computer's about to die over here, so I am going to say goodbye here to you, YouTube and Instagram. Good night, Instagram.